Hi, I'm Nyla. I never expected my life would change at my uncle's funeral. I was an accountant at a small Chicago firm, living paycheck to paycheck in a cramped apartment downtown. That rainy Tuesday, I stood quietly among relatives I barely knew, all dressed in black, pretending we were a close family. "You must be Robert's niece," a deep voice said behind me. I turned to find a well-dressed man with silver-streaked hair and expensive cufflinks that caught the light. "Yes, I'm Nyla. And you are?" "Vincent Moretti. Your uncle and I had business dealings for many years. My condolences for your loss." His handshake lingered uncomfortably long. "Thank you. I didn't realize Uncle Robert knew people in—" I hesitated, unsure how to finish the sentence. Vincent's smile tightened. "In my circles, Robert was quite useful with certain financial matters. I understand you're an accountant, too. Like uncle, like niece." My cousin Marcus appeared at my elbow, his face paling when he saw who I was talking to. "Nyla, Aunt Clara's looking for you over by the refreshments." "In a moment." I turned back to Vincent. "Yes, nothing exciting like whatever Uncle Robert did for you. Just regular corporate tax work." Vincent handed me an embossed business card. "Call me. I might have an opportunity for someone with your particular skills. We should discuss it soon." Marcus pulled me away as soon as Vincent walked toward the funeral director. "Do you know who that is?" he hissed, glancing nervously over his shoulder. "Someone Uncle Robert worked for, obviously. What's the big deal?" "That's Vincent Moretti. He runs half the illegal operations in this city. His name is linked to everything from gambling to drugs. If he's interested in you, that's not good." "What would he want with me? I'm just an accountant at Patterson and Klein." Marcus lowered his voice further. "Uncle Robert was laundering money for Moretti's organization. That's why he could afford that house in the suburbs on a government salary. How do you think he paid for those European vacations every year?" I felt dizzy, leaning against the wall. "What? No way. Uncle Robert worked for the city treasurer's office. That was his cover job. The real money came from Moretti. And now that Robert's gone, Moretti needs a new numbers person. Well, he can look elsewhere. I'm not getting involved in anything illegal. I don't care how much it pays." My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Enjoyed meeting you, Nyla. Let's discuss your future over dinner tomorrow?" VM. How did he get my number? I showed Marcus the text, my hand shaking slightly. He ran a hand through his hair. "You can't ignore him. These people don't take rejection well. Watch me." I deleted the message and turned my phone off. After the funeral, I drove to my uncle's house where I was staying temporarily while settling his estate. The door was unlocked, which was strange because I distinctly remembered locking it. Inside, I found a woman in a sleek pantsuit sitting on the sofa like she owned the place. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" I demanded, my hand already reaching for my phone. "Diana Reeves, Mr. Moretti's executive assistant. He sent me to make sure you received his dinner invitation. Tell Mr. Moretti I'm not interested in dinner or any business propositions." Diana smiled without warmth. "He figured you might say that. He asked me to remind you that your student loan debt of $87,642 could disappear overnight, along with your mother's medical bills from last year's surgery." My blood ran cold. "How does he know about that?" "Mr. Moretti knows everything about people he's interested in. The restaurant is Vito's on Michigan Avenue. 8 tomorrow. Don't be late. Mr. Moretti dislikes waiting." After she left, I called my best friend Zoe, hands still trembling. "He knows about my loans, Zoe, and Mom's hospital bills. How is that possible?" "Because he's a crime boss. They have people everywhere. Banks, hospitals, government offices. You need to call the police right now." "And tell them what? That a man invited me to dinner? They'll laugh me out of the station." "Then go to the FBI. This is serious, Nyla. These aren't nice people." "I need evidence first. I'm going to that dinner." "Are you insane? This isn't some movie where you play amateur detective. I'll be in a public place with witnesses. I need to know what he wants and what Uncle Robert was involved in." Vito's was upscale Italian with soft lighting and private booths. Vincent stood when I approached, his tailored suit probably worth 3 months of my salary. "Nyla, I'm pleased you decided to join me this evening. Did I have a choice? I kept my purse on my lap within reach of the pepper spray inside. Vincent laughed, the sound unnervingly genuine. There's always a choice. Some are just more comfortable than others. He poured ruby red wine from a crystal decanter. Your uncle spoke highly of your accounting skills. My uncle and I weren't close. I had no idea he was involved with your business activities. Let's be direct with each other. Your uncle handled certain financial matters for my organization. His passing has left a void that needs filling. I'm not interested in illegal activities, Mr. Moretti. Who said anything illegal? I own legitimate businesses too. His tone remained pleasant, but his eyes hardened like polished stone. Businesses that require someone with your particular talents. My talents are for legitimate accounting, tax preparation, auditing. And they were wasted at that little firm. Did you know they passed you over for promotion twice last year? Gave it to less qualified men because they played golf with the partners. I stiffened, fingers clenching around my napkin. How could you possibly know that? I make it my business to know things about people who interest me, like your student loans, your mother's medical bills, and that apartment you can barely afford on East Wacker. Diana approached our table, whispering something in Vincent's ear before disappearing again into the dimly lit restaurant. Your cousin Marcus seems concerned about our dinner, Vincent remarked casually, sipping his wine. He's called you 3 times in the last hour. My hand moved instinctively toward my purse. Are you having me followed? Protected, he corrected smoothly. This city can be dangerous for a young woman alone. I don't need your protection. Vincent set down his glass. Listen, Nyla, I'm offering you a way out of debt. A comfortable life. All you need to do is what you already do, just for me instead of that firm that undervalues you. And if I refuse your generous offer, why would you? You're smart enough to recognize an opportunity when it presents itself. An opportunity to go to prison if I'm caught. Vincent's expression darkened. I protected your uncle for 15 years. No one ever questioned his finances. I can do the same for you. My uncle is dead. From cancer. Not my doing. The waiter arrived with our food. Dishes I hadn't ordered. I pushed my plate away untouched. Not hungry? Vincent asked. I want to know exactly what you had my uncle doing. Moving money, making certain funds look legitimate. He was excellent at it. Money laundering. Your uncle made 7 figures annually. You could too. By breaking the law. The real criminals are banks and corporations that exploit people legally every day. Did my uncle know he was working for criminals when he started? Vincent's smile faltered. Robert understood the opportunity presented to him. So you manipulated him, got him in too deep. And now you're afraid I'll find his records and turn them over to authorities. Vincent's jaw tightened visibly. There are no records to find. Then why the job offer? Why not just let me walk away? Talent like yours is rare. Family connections make trustworthy employees. I'm not my uncle. Clearly. Vincent stood abruptly. Think about my offer carefully. You have until the end of the week to decide. After he left, I found an envelope under my plate, a check for $50,000. The memo line read, Initial consultation fee. I immediately called Detective James Chen, my friend from college who worked in financial crimes. James, my uncle was laundering money for Vincent Moretti. The Vincent Moretti? Nyla, do you realize how dangerous? Yes, and now he wants me to take my uncle's place. He just offered me $50,000. Where are you right now? Vito's restaurant on Michigan. Don't move. I'm sending a car to pick you up. I met James and FBI agent Torres at a coffee shop 20 miles outside Chicago. We've been building a case against Moretti for years, Torres explained, sliding a file across the table. Your uncle was on our radar, but we couldn't prove his involvement. I had no idea he was living a double life all this time. We need your help, Torres continued. Moretti's offering you your uncle's position. If you accept, you want me to be an informant? Are you insane? You've seen what happens to people who cross him? We can protect you, James insisted, reaching for my hand. Like you protected my uncle? Your uncle wasn't cooperating with us, Torres clarified. You would be. And end up in witness protection for the rest of my life? No thanks. This might be our only chance to bring down Moretti's entire operation. Your uncle must have kept records somewhere. If he did, I haven't found them in his house. But Moretti thinks you might. That's why he's approaching you instead of finding someone new. He's worried. I pulled away from James's touch. So I risk my life based on a hunch? On bringing a dangerous criminal to justice, James countered. Your uncle might have been complicit, but you don't have to be. What exactly would I have to do? Accept his offer, Torres said. Let him bring you in. We'll wire you, gather evidence against his entire network. And I'd have immunity? Written down and legally binding? Torres nodded firmly. Complete immunity for your cooperation. That evening, Marcus showed up at my uncle's house unannounced, pounding on the door until I opened it. I've been calling you for days, he shouted, pushing past me into the foyer. I've been busy dealing with the estate. Busy having dinner with Vincent Moretti? Are you trying to get yourself killed? How did you know about that? I asked, alarmed. Everyone knows. His people are watching this house, watching you. The word is out that you're taking over your uncle's position. What does Moretti think I have? I asked carefully. The books, accounts, whatever Uncle Robert kept. Moretti is convinced you found them. I don't have anything like that. Marcus's eyes widened in surprise. You really don't know? Know what? About the safe room. Uncle Robert built a hidden office in the basement. That's where he kept everything. 20 minutes later, we stood in a small room concealed behind the wine rack, filled with filing cabinets and a sophisticated computer setup. Everything my uncle had been doing for Moretti, account numbers, shell companies, offshore transactions, meticulously documented. Why would he keep records? I wondered aloud. This is evidence against himself. Insurance, Marcus suggested. Protection if Moretti ever turned on him. Marcus, how did you know about this room? He wouldn't meet my eyes. I helped Uncle Robert sometimes with his work. You're involved too? With Moretti? Not like Uncle Robert. I just delivered packages occasionally. I didn't know what was in them. I looked at the wealth of evidence surrounding us. We need to call the FBI. Moretti will kill us both. Not if we bring him down first. I sat in the federal courthouse watching Moretti as the jury foreman stood to read the verdict. On the count of racketeering, we find the defendant guilty. Moretti's hateful eyes locked with mine across the courtroom. I didn't look away. Money laundering, guilty. Conspiracy, guilty. James squeezed my hand under the table. You did it, he whispered. Outside, reporters surrounded us on the courthouse steps. Agent Torres deflected their questions as we made our way to the waiting SUV. At the safe house, we celebrated with our small group. Marcus, James, Torres, and Zoe, who'd finally been told everything. I can't believe you went undercover with the mob for 3 months, Zoe said, shaking her head in disbelief. I didn't have much choice once I found those records. It was either help the FBI or become an accessory. You always had a choice, James reminded me. You chose to do the right thing. Torres raised her glass. To Nyla, whose record-keeping put Vincent Moretti away for life. Ironic that the skills he wanted me for brought him down, I said. Marcus had been quiet all evening. What happens to me now? He finally asked. You've been granted immunity for your testimony, Torres assured him. But you should consider witness protection. And leave everything behind? My whole life? Moretti still has people on the outside, James warned. People who won't forget your role in this? What about you, Nyla? Zoe asked. I testified in open court. My face has been on national news. There's no hiding for me. Then what will you do now? The FBI offered me a job in their financial crimes division. Apparently, I have a knack for following money trails. Later that week, against everyone's advice, I visited Diana Reeves in prison before her sentencing. You must be pleased with yourself, she said coldly across the visitors' table. Justice was served. That's all. Justice? She laughed bitterly. You have no idea what you've done. The power vacuum you've created. The war that's coming to fill it. Save the threats, Diana. They don't work anymore. She leaned forward. Vincent wanted me to give you a message. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. It is for him. 25 years without parole. You think prison walls will stop Vincent Moretti? He built his empire from nothing. He'll rebuild from inside if necessary. I stood to leave, having heard enough. He trusted your uncle, you know. Treated him like family, and you betrayed that trust. My uncle was a criminal who got what was coming to him, just like you and Moretti. As I turned away, Diana called after me. He'll never forgive you, Nyla. Never. I don't want his forgiveness, I replied without turning back. I want him to remember every day for the next 25 years that I'm the one who put him there. That night, I sat with James on my new apartment balcony, watching the city lights shimmer across Lake Michigan. Any regrets? He asked, pouring more wine. About bringing down Moretti? Not one. Even knowing there might be consequences down the road? Some things are worth the risk. I couldn't have lived with myself if I'd taken his offer and become my uncle. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This isn't over. I showed it to James, who frowned deeply. Should we be worried? He asked. I deleted the message and set my phone aside. Tomorrow, maybe. Tonight, we celebrate. I'd won this round. Moretti was behind bars, his organization in shambles. Whatever came next, I'd be ready to face it. Because, unlike my uncle, I chose the right side of the law. What would you do if you discovered a family member was involved in criminal activity? Would you turn them in or look the other way? Let me know in the comments.